guys, it's Sarah from Losing It For Me 42 with my week 70 update. It'll be in the title. I think it's like 72, 73, but I could be really wrong. So I had VSG surgery, or vertical sleeve gastrectomy. Oh, something on my phone, sorry. On October 26, 2016, my high weight was 389, and that was in April of 2016. My surgery weight was 324. I do not remember what I came at you guys last at. I've made videos and then not posted them, so I really can't remember. I've been around 214 for a while. And of late, I've been fluctuating pretty heavily. I have been everywhere from 221.8, which was my highest, to 212, which was my lowest. So fluctuating everywhere. Eating has been weird, both good and both bad, and just it's hence fluctuations. So last week I wanted to do something to kind of like reset my system, to really kind of refocus myself, to divorce myself from food and kind of reintroduce it in a new way so that I would have a better understanding about my relationship with food and my relationship with hunger. So I did a fast. I did a 3-day fast from Monday to Wednesday. I broke the fast. I was hoping to do a 5 to 7 day. I broke the fast because I felt like poop on Wednesday. I had shoveled because of the snowstorm, and I just came inside and I felt really ill. And it was the first time during the fast that I felt ill. And I was like, So I broke the fast and I ate everything. Not tie down the house. It was very odd. I expected more restriction. I had zero restriction. And I was famished. And I was famished for days. I do believe that a lot of that had to do with mental stuff. I have a real problem with hunger. I have a real problem when I think I'm hungry. I don't have a problem when I actually am hungry, but I have a problem when I think I'm hungry. And that is a thing that I'm really coming to terms with. It's been eye-opening. I kind of knew a little bit about it, but I didn't realize how bad it was and how absolutely uncontrollable it was with me. So, because I had wanted to do a 5 to 7 day fast and I didn't, I decided to try again. Not exactly the smartest thing. Should have given a little bit more time between. Most of the things that I've seen about fasting usually recommends it for maybe once a month. Prolonged fast. Prolonged fasts typically, you don't do that often. Intermittent fasting is completely different. Prolonged fasting, which is anything past 24 hours, like you tend to do a bit more sparingly. So, Monday. So I went from 218 on last Monday to 212 on Wednesday. So that was like, I think it was like a 6.6 pound loss altogether. It was like 218 point something, whatever. But, or maybe even with 219, I don't remember. It was somewhere up there. Then this week, when I decided to do, so Wednesday I was 212. On Monday, I was 221.8. And today is Wednesday. I'll actually give you the date because I never do. March 14th. I weighed in at 214 this morning. Um, I'm kind of hoping for another drop tomorrow, but since I broke my fast today, Wednesday, it's a 3-day fast again. I think that I probably won't have a drop again. So why did I break my fast early? Is honestly, I felt like poop. I started to kind of have shakes, kind of like my hypoglycemia. I kind of felt ill, and um, once it started, like I got really super paranoid because I always get really super paranoid about hypoglycemia because I've been in attacks that woke me from my sleep, and the only reason I lived was that I woke from my sleep. Is that my blood sugar was so low that when I woke up, I went to the fridge and thank God we had orange juice, drank an entire gallon of orange juice, and I wasn't even conscious of doing it. It literally was my body going like, no, you are in very, very bad state. And yeah, so I get really super paranoid when that happens. So I got really super paranoid and I decided to break my fast. I had, and I think in some ways I did it a lot smarter. A lot of people say that how you break your fast is more important than the fast. And for me, like last time I had a protein shake and that wasn't satisfying. And then I just started eating everything. I ate dense foods. I ate like um, filler foods. I ate like I had like a salad. I had like stuffed mushrooms, and I had like so it was all like in general it was all low carb friendly, but it I don't know, it just was different. And this time I decided to break it with a half an avocado. So very heavy on the fat. Hoping, because at this point I should be in ketosis, so hoping that would help with that. And I had some bacon and some grilled chicken and a slice of cheese. So overall, like very protein, very fat heavy. And I ate it incredibly slow. And the nice thing is because I broke my fast at work, there was no more food. It wasn't like I could just go on a binge because there wasn't any more food. And I think because I ate it slow and it was very dense, the chicken was very dense, that I felt satisfied and full. Um, and yet my brain, I can still feel it go like, ooh, we need to eat. And I'm like, no, I'm feeling my belly. My belly feels fine. I don't need to eat. And my belly's like, my head's like, yeah, we need to eat. And I'm like, no. So I think that worked well. So here comes the TMI. Is it what didn't work well is the fact that breaking my fast at work caused my IBS to go crazy. I didn't remember from my last fast having any IBS side effect issues. I just, I don't know, like I just didn't really have any issues this time. By the time that like the food had settled a bit, my IBS kicked in and was like, holy crap, we need everything out of us. It wasn't dumping, it was just cramping and uncomfortable. And that was unpleasant. But other than that, like, I really haven't had any more issues. I still kind of feel a little, like, shaky, but not bad. Like, not anything I'm concerned about, but I kind of do feel like my blood sugar is a little low. I'm going to have some veggies with my dinner tonight. Which I got an avocado and I'm gonna make eggs and broccoli omelet for myself. So kind of heavy on the fat with some nice protein, and lots and lots of veggies. But but in general, I felt really good. I felt really good on the fast. Fasting isn't that hard with VSG. I don't know about anyone else, but after you go past the point where your brain is expecting to eat, like the time of day in which you expect to eat, I don't feel hungry. Like, it just switches over after a certain amount of time to just not hungry. And I feel okay. I will note that I feel bored. It's terrible. Like, you should eat food to fuel your body and take care of yourself, but not eating is boring. I was super bored, and I really did make that correlation to the fact that I wasn't eating. Like, that made it really boring. I didn't have things to think about or plan or whatever, and yeah, bored. Weird. Um, so I'm hoping that this fast I can continue to keep up on a very low carb and kind of keto-ish, like low carb, higher fat process. I'm not sure where I want to come in now with my calories. I'm not sure if I really care about my calories. I'm having a lot of indecision on how I should eat, mostly because nothing is working for me. I may do short fasts during the week and see how they work. I'm going to take a break. I think my body has gotten enough for now. I'm going to take a little bit of a break from fasting, but I think maybe next week I might introduce like single day fasts where I just go 24 hours. And see how that goes. And for me, it would be from like one meal, like probably dinner to dinner. Even though they always say you should break your fast and like you should have your last meal in the morning. As soon as I eat, it's done. I can't fast after eating. I can fast after waking up. If I start my day with no food, I can do that, but I can't do that after eating. It's just a weird thing with me. I can't do it. So yeah, I would probably do from dinner to dinner. And after doing these fasts, I think that would be super, super easy because it really doesn't bother me in the least bit. But 3-day mark seems to be when I start to like not feel okay. And for me, that's the most important thing is this the moment I stop feeling okay, I'm like, no, it's done. And I'd like to at some point get a little bit longer, but right now 3 days seems to be max. I may try again next month and see how I can do then, but I mean, a lot of people say, and I will say this, even though I dropped a large amount of weight in a very short period of time, fasting is not for weight loss. Prolonged fasting is for a lot of other reasons. It's not for weight loss. Almost everybody puts back on most of the weight that they lose fasting because a lot of it's water weight. Everything I read and listened to was like, fasting is not for weight loss. And I was like, okay, it's not what I'm doing. And I'm trying to reset my brain and start new relationships with food because I've noticed I'm not eating terribly, but I'm not eating well enough to have success. And I think that there's a difference there, and it's hard to go like, how I've eaten for the last 2 years isn't good enough anymore. it's been the way that I've eaten has been successful for 2 years, and now it's not. And now I have to kind of reevaluate everything and try to find a new way of losing weight with food. It's really funny. There was this quote from this thing. It was like, what is the hardest thing in sports? And somebody said that it's going into the locker room at halftime at the Super Bowl and having to throw out all of your stuff and plans that got you there and come up with something new because it's not working. And that's kind of how it feels. Is like, you're here, it ain't working no more. It worked forever, it ain't working no more. So I still want to get further. I also want to get to a place where I feel comfortable maintaining. Whether I maintain here or wherever, I don't want to jump up into the 220s when I relax in the least bit. If I eat, I don't want to say normal, and I know there's a whole thing going around about normal, but not normal, but normal for me, like how I normally eat. And how I normally eat now is suddenly making me gain more weight. Sometimes slower, sometimes really fast. And I've noticed the slippery slope of you gain a little bit of weight and then your brain goes like, wow, I'm already up. I might as well have a piece of bread. And it's bad. All of that is bad, and that's definitely what I'm dealing with now. The next stage is dealing with how that all functions in my brain, how my brain functions with it. I do feel like fasting is a very helpful tool for me. Kind of in a lot of religious practices, there are things that you do on a daily basis to bring you closer to God, such as abstain from things. You don't do it because there's anything wrong with that or God's going to be angry at you if you eat a ham sandwich. You do it because abstaining, the act of abstaining is what brings you closer to God. And so therefore, like, I kind of feel like fasting can be a touchstone with me with food. That it can bring me to a more conscious state of how I relate with food. It's definitely something like feeling that hunger, feeling that. Is my dog really? Yes, my dog is literally standing in the window there, watching me and freaking out because I'm not inside. But having that relationship with food, having that just feeling how hunger feels, like real hunger feels, and not the fake mental hunger. And bringing that relationship with food into a more daily basis until I get to a place where I can, like, where I can function with it more programmed, because I honestly think, like, it was so simple for me once I went low carb that I never really took time to feel and evaluate and all of those things that a lot of people do right after they had surgery. I had been low carbing for over a year before that. So, like, it was really like, it became too second nature, and I think when it becomes a little bit second nature, it tends to get sloppy for some time. And I think that you also go through the periods of, I don't want to diet anymore. And when you have those periods, like, and I've gone through a couple of them. It's not just once. I've gone through a couple of times in which I just get sick and tired of dieting. And I just want to eat whatever I want. Which is fine. I just have to know that the scale is going to jump the fuck up because I ate what I wanted. So that's always something that you can indulge. You're just going to have to be conscious of it. And on the level of being normal, eating normal, I'm sorry, there's a cat chasing a leaf in the wind. It was the most adorable thing I think I've seen in a while. But on the level of normal, I people watch a lot. I pay attention to everybody I see and how they eat and what they eat and how much they eat. And honest to God, the things that we think are normal, they struggle. They struggle. The people that we think are normal, the people that are, in our books, thin, they struggle. Like, the people who can eat whatever they want and never gain weight are going to hit a metabolism wall. And I've seen it where they do. They get into their 30s and they hit a metabolism wall, and suddenly that behavior is packing on the pounds because they never had to worry about it before. And the people that don't have that do struggle, and they eat poorly, or they try very hard to eat well. They'll have a donut every once in a while, and guess what? Their weight jumps up because of it. They might not have a donut again for a month, but and then they lose that donut weight because they don't misbehave again, and we freak out when the scale jumps, but we're also watching the scale a hell of a lot closer than most people. Most people don't watch the scale that way, and if they do, they're already watching their weight, and they're conscious of their weight and how they eat and what they eat. But I've known people who, they'll have a donut and gain 2 pounds, and it comes off in the next month. Because those 2 pounds don't actually, affect their clothes or anything like that. It just is, it fluctuates. And so, it's, in that sense, a lot of the things that we have ideas of normalcy don't really exist. And looking at people, seeing how people eat and react, and talking to people about their weight and their skinny people and heavy people and all sorts of stuff, you find out a whole bunch of information. And it's what a lot of it is the stuff that we think isn't true. We think it doesn't affect them. It does. We just don't see that. So, okay. I'm gonna go, guys. I hope to talk to you guys next week, and hopefully I will weigh in again at a even lower weight. I'm trying to get out of the 2 teens into the 2 singles. I don't know what you call them. The 2 tens, maybe, I guess. Maybe? I don't know. But to get into the single digits of the 200s would be really nice, and I'm kind of struggling. That's my goal right now, is to get there. I got really close with the 212 and then fucked it all up, because that's what I do. Okay, I hope to talk to you guys next week. Bye.